For 2 seasons, Peacock Miraculous was a real enigma. This broken Miraculous only brought more questions and few answers. Meanwhile, Natalie's health went from bad to worse, leaving her bedridden from time to time. This impacted not only Natalie, but also her Kwame, Dusu, who was mentally confused and felt constant chaos. As we saw in the episode Truth, this continuous suffering of Natalie and Dusu totally changed the course of the series. The whole story of Miraculous Ladybug revolves around the Peacock Miraculous. If Gabriel hadn't found this Miraculous over a decade ago, the series wouldn't even have happened and main characters like Gabriel Agreste wouldn't even exist. Unfortunately, this all started because the Peacock Miraculous was broken from the start, creating a major problem. If another broken Miraculous was used, it could cause a butterfly effect, changing not only the Kwame and the bearer, but also everyone affected by its power. At the end of Season 5, in Recreation, Gabriel loses the Butterfly Miraculous during the battle with Bug Noir. This fight and the brief moment when the Miraculous was left without an owner may have damaged the brooch without anyone noticing. So today we're going to imagine what might have happened if Butterfly's Miraculous had remained broken at the start of Season 6. I am Mayura. You are trapped, tormented by your deepest despair. Let me help you. The Peacock Miraculous clearly shows the danger of using a damaged Miraculous. These magical gems are not safe when they are broken, but even knowing this, Emily Agreste decided to use the Miraculous to have a child. As we saw in Representation, Colt Fathom followed her example and they lived for about 14 years after creating a single Centimonster. Natalie's health deteriorates much faster because she often uses Miraculous as Mayura to create sentient monsters. Unlike the other carriers, Natalie lives only a few months before succumbing to the magical disease in Confirmation. It seems that the more someone uses a broken Miraculous, the faster it deteriorates. And where does that leave Lila at the start of Season 6? If she managed to steal a broken Miraculous, we don't know exactly when she discovered Gabriel's secret identity as the Monarch, but it must have been before the episode Emotion. Lila plans to get back at Gabriel for firing her and, in Revelation, she puts this plan into action by encouraging him to akumatize her. With the powers she receives as a hoaxer, she tricks Gabriel, even with the telepathic connection between them. Full update. Welcome. I'm Hewler, your new source of information. Lila's ability to manipulate people shines through in this episode, when she brainwashes Natalie to get all of Gabriel's secrets. These secrets include information about the Miraculous, their carriers, and the Kwame. Lila gets all the information from Natalie's tablet, which, as we saw in Confirmation, contains everything she and Gabriel have discovered. So not only does Lila know about the Miraculous Grimoire and the secret identities of some of the bearers, but she must also have the formula to fix a broken Miraculous. In truth, Gabriel uses the formula from the spellbook to cure Dusu and the Peacock Miraculous. It makes sense that Lila would have this information now. But the spell to fix Peacock Miraculous needs ingredients that are hard to find and seem to be specific to each Miraculous. Meteorite dust and molten gold are essential, but each Miraculous needs a special ingredient. If Master Fu didn't translate the part of the book about the Butterfly Miraculous, Lila would have to do it herself, which could take a long time. According to Marinette and Ways, in episodes like Mr. Pigeon 72, deciphering the riddles and spells in the grimoire is complicated and time-consuming. With the meteorite dust and the peacock feather, it would be better if Lila didn't use the Butterfly Miraculous. But the more time she spends around Marinette, who has exposed her lies and confronted her, the more likely it is that Lila will want to start her revenge. It's unlikely that Lila will quickly realize how bad her health could get because, as we saw with Emily and Colt, using a broken Miraculous once is enough to make someone seriously ill. We don't know how quickly the symptoms appeared, but Natalie began to feel ill soon after using the Peacock Miraculous in Mayura. According to Adrian, Natalie and Emily showed the same signs of illness, which worries him because he fears that Natalie will disappear like her mother. If the symptoms appear quickly, Lila will need to make excuses for her sudden illness if she wants to cause akumatization. However, she already uses illnesses and injuries as excuses to get what she wants, so the magical illness of Butterfly Miraculous might even help her. She wouldn't have to lie completely if she fainted in class, and with a new identity, everyone would believe that she has a gradually worsening illness. The few people who could discover the cause of Lila's illness are Adrian and Felix. They lost a father to the same condition and saw him gradually get sicker. They would recognize the symptoms and might suspect that Lila has a broken Miraculous. In this situation, Lila would need a good lie to convince the two boys of her innocence. But Adrian and Felix are clever and could see through her lies. The broken Butterfly Miraculous wouldn't just affect the bearer. Nuru, the Kwame, showed in truth that much of his personality changed because he couldn't control the chaos in his mind. He became hyperactive and detached from reality, to the point of celebrating when Natalie fainted. If Nuru experiences the same symptoms, he won't be a good partner for Lila. Even though he was forced to serve Gabriel, Nuru cared about him and tried to advise him. In Miraculous World, Shanghai, Nuru asks Gabriel not to interact with the Guardian of the Prodigious, even if it would give him freedom. Nuru's gentle nature may disappear, leaving him confused and in pain. Another important point is how a broken Miraculous deals with his powers. When Natalie created sentient monsters with the Peacock Miraculous, the creatures seemed obedient, but when damaged, as in Reflectol, they went mad. Their chaotic personalities are reminiscent of Dusu, who has no control over his emotions. If something similar happens to the people akumatized by Lila, we don't know what could happen. Like Gabriel, Lila will probably turn the people of Paris into villains, not heroes, increasing negative thoughts and bad feelings. Most akumatized villains gain their powers in a moment of weakness or when they feel desperate. Lila can take advantage of this because she knows, as she explained to Marinette in Chameleon, that she can manipulate others by telling them what they want to hear. The magical guardian of the prodigious is a formidable opponent, impossible to defeat. Who said I'd be the one to challenge him? It's hard to predict what an unstable akumatized villain would be like, but a good example is the main villain in Cat Blanc. After discovering the truth about his father, Adrian is akumatized against his will. He tries to resist Hawk Moth's orders, but his cataclysm ends up destroying Paris. Cat Blanc could barely control his new powers, and when Ladybug appeared to save him, he cried in anguish trying to fulfill the mission he had been given. Lila always manages to keep control in difficult situations, lying and deceiving throughout the series without getting caught, which is quite an achievement. However, with so much evidence against her, using the broken Butterfly Miraculous could be her undoing. After so much abuse from Gabriel, no Miraculous fan wants to see Nuru go mad. But after an ending like that of Recreation and the death of the series' main villain, the scriptwriters need to find new ways to increase the tension. The pieces are lining up for the broken Butterfly Miraculous to create conflicts not only for Lila, but also for Ladybug and Cat Noir. Fortunately, even though Nuru's Miraculous was damaged in the fight between Monarch and Bug Noir, there are already ways to fix it, which could be the key to saving Nuru. By revealing her lies and confrontation, it's more likely that Lila will want to begin her act of revenge. It's unlikely that Lila realizes how quickly her health could deteriorate because, just as for Emily and Colt, using a broken Miraculous once was enough to make them terminally ill. It's not known how quickly their symptoms manifested themselves, but Natalie began to feel weak after using the Peacock Miraculous in Mayura. In addition, according to Adrian, Natalie and Emily showed the same traits of illness, which makes him fear that Natalie will disappear like her mother. Assuming that the symptoms appear quickly, Lila would need to invent excuses for her sudden illness if she wanted to cause akumatization. However, she often uses illness and injury as excuses to get what she wants, so the illness magically induced by the Butterfly Miraculous could work in her favor. She wouldn't have to be caught in a complete lie if she fainted in class, and as she has a new personality and name, everyone would believe that C has developed a gradually worsening illness. The few people who could potentially discover the cause of C's illness are Adrian and Felix. The cousins lost a father to the same condition and had to watch the person get sicker and sicker over time. They would notice the familiar symptoms if they paid attention, leading them to believe that S had a broken Miraculous. In this situation, she would need a convincing lie to persuade the two boys of her innocence. Unfortunately for her, Adrian and Felix are prepared to see through her deception. A few months later, The twin princesses gave birth to two boys as alike as their mothers. The broken Butterfly Miraculous wouldn't just affect the bearer, as expressed by Nuru in truth. Much of his personality throughout Season 4 occurred because he couldn't control the chaos in his mind. He became hyperactive and noisy, and a detachment from reality left him oblivious to serious problems, such as celebrating when Natalie fainted. If Nuru experiences these same symptoms, he won't be a good partner for Lila to trust. Although he was forced to serve Gabriel, Nuru still cared about his carrier and tried to advise him when necessary. In Miraculous World, Shanghai, Nuru encourages Gabriel not to interact with the Guardian of the Prodigious, even though he knows it could earn him his freedom. The gentle, down-to-earth nature expressed by Nuru for most of the series could be lost, leaving him as a delusional, confused Kwame who is in great pain. A final point to consider in this theory is how a broken Miraculous deals with his powers. When Natalie created sentient monsters using the Peacock Miraculous, the creatures she made seemed obedient and able to follow instructions. However, the moment they were damaged, such as by a cataclysm in the episode Reflectol, they went mad. Their chaotic personalities are reminiscent of Dusu, who seems to have little control over his emotions. If a similar phenomenon were to occur with the people akumatized by Lila, there's no telling what might happen. Like Gabriel, Lila will probably turn the people of Paris into villains rather than heroes, which means that their negative thoughts and feelings will be at their peak. Most akumatized villains receive their powers during a moment of weakness, or when they feel that all hope is lost. Lila can capitalize on this because she knows, as she explains to Marinette in Chameleon, that she manipulates others by telling them what they want to hear. I am the magical guardian of the prodigious. You'll never be able to defeat me. Who said I'd be the one to challenge you? It's hard to say what an unstable akumatized villain would be like, but a good example could be the titular villain in Cat Blanc. After discovering the truth about his father, Adrien is akumatized against his will. He tries to fight against the commands given by Hawkmoth, but instead his cataclysm destroys all of Paris. Cat Blanc could barely contain his new abilities, and, when Ladybug appeared to save him, he couldn't help crying in anguish as he tried to complete the objective given to him. Lila always manages to keep control of a difficult situation. She lies and cheats throughout most of the series without getting caught, which is a significant achievement. However, with so much evidence against her, wielding the broken Butterfly Miraculous could be her undoing. After enduring Gabriel's abuse for many seasons, no Miraculous fan wants to witness Nuru descending into madness. However, after an ending like that of Recreation and the death of the series' main antagonist, the showrunners must find a new way to raise the stakes. The dominoes have lined up to break Butterfly's Miraculous, creating conflicts not only for Lila, but also for Ladybug and Cat Noir. Fortunately, even though Nuru's Miraculous was damaged during the fight between Monarch and Bug Noir, ways to repair it have already appeared, and this could be the key to Nuru's salvation. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with our uploads.